everyone, it's Coach Taryn here, and I'm just hopping on to do a quick Facebook Live. Um, all of the uncertainty and change that's been going on in our world right now has just got me thinking about positive ways to cope with uncertainty, because we know that even though there is a lot of uncertainty right now, it's likely that any of you as athletes or just as human beings are going to continue to experience uncertainty at different points in the future in your sport and in your life. So I wanted to pop on here and talk about 10 different ways to cope with uncertainty in a positive way. And so the first of those is going to be being kind to yourself. I talk a lot about this in my live trainings in the Perform Happy community, but being kind to yourself, practicing what I call self-compassion or self-kindness. And this is really the idea of talking to yourself like you would a friend. So if you're struggling with not knowing when you're going to get back in the gym or on the ice and not knowing what things are going to hold in the future, and that's making you feel frustrated, think about what you would say to a friend in that situation. And my guess is it's probably different than what your brain is saying to yourself right now. So think about being kind to yourself, giving yourself some grace during this time, because it is really hard for everybody. And the fact that we don't know what's going to happen in the future and when this is going to all return to normal, and even what normal is going to look like, we need to be kind to ourselves during this difficult time. The other thing that you can do is reflect on past successes, particularly past successes of dealing with uncertainty, challenge, difficult times. Because my guess is that if you look back on any difficult time you've had in your life, you have gotten through that. I think there's a quote out there that says we have survived 100% of our worst days. So even when things are really tough, when you're having a bad day, when you feel like you're struggling with anxiety or stress about the uncertainty and the unknown, know that there are times in your life that you've been in those positions before and you've survived that, you've made through that, and use that as confidence to know that you are resilient and you are strong and that you can get through things even if they feel really difficult in the moment. The other thing that you can do that's a positive way to cope with uncertainty is develop new skills. So one, you're already developing a skill of coping with uncertainty, and that's something that's going to be huge and really important when we do go back to competing, being in our sports as we might normally. But use this time to focus on honing new skills. They can be related to your sport, right? So maybe focusing on things that you don't give as much time to when you are training in the gym or on the ice. But maybe even thinking about developing some skills outside of your sport. So whether that's picking up a new hobby, learning a new language, trying some different arts and crafts projects, having a sibling who does a different sport teach you some skills from that sport. So if you've got a sibling that plays softball or baseball, have them teach you some of the rules, or teach you how to hit a baseball, teach you how to swing a bat, play catch with that sibling. Learn something different or try something new that could give you a new perspective, or maybe even find something that you didn't anticipate that you would enjoy. I really encourage limiting exposure to news, whether that's on TV, on the radio, or social media. I think the more we start to read about everything that's going on, one, that can create more anxiety about what could happen in the future, but I think it can also result in comparison to other people and how other people are dealing with this, or what other people are experiencing during this time. So really just try to limit the amount that you're reading in the news or in social media about all of the things that are going on right now. Obviously we want to stay knowledgeable and be able to stay safe, but I think trying to limit that to the best of your ability is really important. The other thing, and again, this is something I talk about a lot as a coach with Complete Performance, is thinking about the things that are in your control and avoiding dwelling on the things that are out of your control, right? What happens with reopening of states and gyms, and what happens with future competitive seasons is really out of a lot of our control, right? We can't control that. We can't change what's going to happen. And the more we focus on it, we end up exerting this wasted energy to something that we can't do anything about. So channel that energy into things that are positive and things that are going to be in your control and make a difference for you in terms of your well-being, your positive mental state, you feeling happy. So if there's things that you notice that you're dwelling on, that you're circling around in your mind that are out of your control, see if you can set those aside. Put them on a shelf in your mind, put them in a box, set them to the side, throw them in a trash can, and focus instead on the things that are in your control, the things that you can do that are going to make you feel good during this time. Take your own advice. That's another positive way to cope with uncertainty. Again, this goes back to like what you would say to a friend, what you would say to somebody else who's struggling, is think about what you would say in support of another person who's dealing with a really uncertain, difficult time, and take that advice for yourself, right? If you would tell that other person to focus on what's in their control, or you would tell that other person to, that it's going to be okay. You've got to just take it one day at a time. Listen to that for yourself, because that's probably really good advice. We all are very good at giving advice to other people, and we need to try to turn that towards ourselves, because I think that that's really important during these times. The other thing that's really important is engaging what I'll call self-care. And self-care looks a lot of different ways for different people, but it can be as simple as getting enough sleep, fueling your body with good nutrition, making sure you're moving and exercising throughout the day. But it can also be those other things that you might do to bring yourself happiness. So that could be, giving yourself an at-home spa day, painting your nails, doing that with maybe a sibling or a parent or friends. Or it could be, enjoying a new TV show or book or movie. Self-care can also look like putting on music and having a dance party in your kitchen. Maybe that's with siblings. But doing things that make you feel good inside, that make you happy, that de-stress and elevate positive emotions. Those are going to be great things to do during this time, especially when you have more time to do that. You can learn new ways of engaging in self-care that you might not have used in the past because you didn't have time to do that. Seek support from those you trust. That's another big one. Whether that's a parent, a coach, a teammate, a friend, a mental coach, seek out support from somebody that you trust and somebody that you can talk to about the challenging feelings, emotions, when you get angry or frustrated or feel sad about things being different and missing the way that things used to be. Talk to those people, because a lot of times talking about what we're struggling with can help release some of the weight of what that feels like to hold on to. If you don't have access to someone to talk to in a particular moment, another great way to seek support is through journaling and writing about what you're experiencing, because that can be another really great release rather than just holding in all of the negative emotion or frustration or anger or sadness that you might be experiencing. And then the last of these 10 steps I want to talk about today is control what you can. And this goes back to what I already talked about a little bit earlier, of avoiding dwelling on the things that are out of your control. But control what you can, right? If you can control what you eat and how much sleep you get, focus on making those things good for what your body and your mind are needing right now, right? If you can control putting in some hours of conditioning or practice at home, focus on making the most of that and doing, your best during those times that you can train at home, right? Focus on using the time wisely right now to get yourself in the best mental shape, so that when you return to the gym or the ice or into your sport, that you feel prepared and you feel more confident maybe than you were before. I think there's a lot of positive things that we can take out of these uncertain times that are going to make everybody stronger in their sports, in their schooling, in their lives when we do return to more normalcy over time. And I know that there's a lot of uncertainty of when that's going to be, but I think we all have to keep some hope alive that that's going to happen. We just have to be patient, and in the meantime, think about these 10 different ways I've talked about as ways that can help you get through the uncertainty. If you want to talk any more about this or any of these strategies in more detail, feel free to reach out to me, Taryn at CompletePerformanceCoaching.com. Again, I'm Coach Taryn, and I hope to see some of you in the live training room, in the Complete Performance Coaching community, but feel free to reach out if you need anything. I hope you all are having a great day, and keep focusing on what's in your control.